Salute, my Quickclassics friends. Good to see you all on this January the 22nd, 2021. As always, if you like the content, please click a like, subscribe, and share. And today we'll be talking about the Capricorn. This, of course, is going to dovetail with some of the Sunday School X stuff that I'll be doing on Paneas, but this will give you a little bit of background on another facet of Pan. Most people are familiar with Capricorn from its astrological significance, which is, in fact, an ancient one. And the image, of course, of the Capricorn is of a half goat, a goat torso with a fish tail. And in terms of its temporal significance, covers a little bit of the month of December and most of the month of January on the Western calendar. Supposedly, again, according to the Greek traditions, the Capricorn sign, which is the 10th sign of the zodiac, was ruled over by the planet Saturn. And another thing you have to remember is that a lot of this stuff, in fact, most of it originates in the ancient Near East. Both the Greeks and the Romans were always sort of singing the praises of what they called the Babylonian numbers, or the Babylonian stars. And that's a reference to Babylonian astrology and astronomy, which really didn't have a dividing line in the ancient world. It was all sort of mixed together. Now, in terms of the Capricorn's Mesopotamian origins, we look to his form in Enki, who was the god of wisdom and waters, and to an extent, the Mesopotamian abyss, the Apsu. So there's definitely this water motif, and in terms of Pan's, or rather Capricorn's significance within Greco-Roman astrology, the mythology behind that is such that Pan, in this primordial battle that he helped the Olympian gods with against Chaos, Typhon, the way that he escaped was to give himself a tail and swim off into the sea, and this image became the Agapan, or the sea goat. Sometimes, when you look into the mythology, he's associated with or rather, Capricorn. The image of Capricorn is associated with the goat who suckled the infant Zeus. But again, there's an Olympian connection there between the Capricorn symbol and the war against the Titans, as it were. So there's kind of some interesting stuff there. Now, again, if you know, there's so much you have to remember that the Greeks were taking inspiration from or being influenced by in the ancient Near East. And I've talked about this before. It's a phenomenon that scholars call Orientalism. That is the effect of the ancient Near East on Greek culture, Greek religion, and you can refer to works like the Western Face of the Hellicon. It's probably a really good resource to study that. I've long argued that Pan, for instance, has Eastern origins. There's a good case to be made for that. It's no surprise, no secret that a lot of religious motifs that you see in the Mediterranean world are definitely coming from the ancient Near East, Anatolia, even Egypt. So that trajectory is already set, rather. Now, an interesting footnote to this as to how it sort of dovetails, how this whole Capricorn thing sort of dovetails with my research on Pan, is that several years back I was reading a book on the Magi. I wanted to read a book at Christmas time, so I picked one on the Magi, and I ran across a coin, a very interesting coin that had the image that was minted during the reign of Caesar Augustus. It had his image on one side and the Capricorn on the other. And Caesar Augustus's horoscope was public, so it would have been well known, you know, and this imagery wouldn't have been lost on people who saw this on the coinage. What's interesting about it in terms of my research, and particularly Paneas or Paneas, is that 10 years after Augustus becomes Caesar, one of his vassal kings, Herod the Great, builds a temple to him at the Paneon. This is the location, the general location of Paneas. Probably as a kind of nod to Augustus, not just in terms of the worship of the genius of the emperor, but his association astrologically with the Capricorn. So there's kind of an interesting connection there. And you can read about that in Josephus's works in Wars of the Jews and Antiquities of the Jews. Now, our oldest sources for the imagery, more the constellation associated with Capricorn as a constellation, of course. But the oldest sources that we have date back to the 21st century BC, and these would have been Babylonian cylinder seals that were made from their star catalogs, essentially. And noting the date, these are not the Neo-Babylonians of the later period, but in fact the Amorite Babylonians. So they have the most ancient. It seems to, in terms of writing, that's the most ancient source material that we have for Capricorn outside of the Greek world itself. So there you have a summary of Capricorn, its mythological significance, and even its potential origins. So, hey, do you like studying the classics? Of course you do. You're watching this channel, right? And I appreciate that dearly. I appreciate your support. Did you know that the biblical world is part of the classical world? Yes, the Eastern Mediterranean contains the homeland of both the Jews and the Christians, which makes it part of the classical world. And you could be studying about the biblical world, the classical world, with me under the auspices of the Institute of Biblical Anthropology. I'm offering my entire 12-course module on biblical anthropology for $150 through January the 31st. And I know money is tight right now. I knocked $50 off of the price. So if you've ever been wanting to study with me, so really dig deep into the anthropology, archaeology, the geography, history, the culture, even into a bit of the language material, the apocryphal material, some of the more strange subjects like giantology, demonology, and even witchcraft in the biblical world. You can do that now and study with me. Study these courses that will take you deep. There'll be deep dives into this world, and they'll enrich your study of the biblical and classical worlds and looking at them in better context. So I'll put a link to that in the description if you're interested. I welcome you students. I picked up 2 new students yesterday taking advantage of the sale, so don't be left out. Hey, you looking to expand your library of classical material? I've got an opportunity for you to do that. I have a book bundle called the Quickclassics Collection. There's some edited volumes of classic works on the Greco-Roman world, and they include works like A Smaller History of Greece, Myths of Greece and Rome, and 2 excellent books on Roman religion, The Religion of Numa and Taboo, Magic, and Spirits, plus digital copies of Paneas and some other goodies as well, which you can nab through January the 31st for $55. I'll put a link in the description to that. But again, as always, I really appreciate your support. We're growing here at the Institute of Biblical Anthropology, Burton Beyond, and I'm very excited about directions that we're going right now. So please, again, click a like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you soon, Quick Classics friends.